Salutations, my Fallout lovers. It is Matty here today with my review for Fallout 4's final DLC, Nuka World. This is it, ladies and gentlemen, the end of Fallout 4. Is it a solid conclusion or is it just a faceplant? I'm here to let you guys know that today. Let's start off by saying that the beginning of this DLC for me was bug ridden, which was not a good start at all. Everything was just not working between entering the gauntlet and having this giant thing, I don't know what it was, without colliders, just fill up the entire arena, which led to what was a creative boss fight actually being quite frustrating because I had no idea what to do. I actually had to toggle collision off in order to get out of this building and continue on with the DLC. There were a few audio bugs as well, and when I got to the galactic zone, the frames continuously dropped even when I disabled all mods. There were some serious optimization issues with this area in general. That was about the first couple hours of my experience. Was a lot of bugs, a lot of tech issues, and like I said, I know I was playing the beta, but it was quite frustrating at first. After a little bit though, the DLC started to settle in and things started running smoothly. I didn't run into any bugs after my first 2 hours, and I played this DLC for about 15-ish hours. A lot of people want to know, does Nuka World have a story? It kind of does, but it's all based around the exploration of all the zones in Nuka World and back into the Commonwealth, and it's not really the compelling story that I thought came along with something like Far Harbor. It's just a thing to get you exploring in this DLC. You can tell they didn't really spend a lot of time. There's really no compelling characters aside from the new companion Gage. He is actually a quite interesting character, I have to admit. He's a lot better than old Longfellow, has a much more interesting backstory. I did like Gage quite a bit, but other than that, there's 3 gangs that populate Nuka World, and all their leaders, you don't really get to know them that well, or when you're picking where you want them to inhabit each park zone. I picked based off cosmetic preference, what they looked like to me. I thought, okay, this gang looks cool, I'm gonna give them this base here, and that's all I did to pick them. I didn't really get to know them or their intentions or anything because they only give you the bare bones amount of information on what exactly these gangs do. Some are just brutal killers, some are all about the money, yada yada yada, so you don't really get close to these gangs. But honestly, that's not what Nuka World's about. Nuka World is one of the most interesting places to explore in a Fallout game that I have ever experienced, and you know how well Bethesda does exploration, and they nailed it with Nuka World. Everything is just interesting to explore. Every single area is so cool because it's something we've never seen before. There are tons of brand new assets. Each area is just done so well. What's good about this DLC is that Bethesda took into account that what makes areas even more interesting to explore while you're busy shooting and looting is actually adding quest lines involved inside these areas, and each zone does have their own quest line that makes exploring it a much more thrilling experience compared to just running around and doing whatever. While you're exploring, you're going to be hearing a lot of new sounds. There's a brand new ambient soundtrack for Nuka World that is just some of the best I've heard in Fallout before. I have to say, Einon Zur has done a killer job, yet again, unsurprisingly, with the ambient music here in Fallout 4's Nuka World DLC, man. It is just, don't even bother with the radio. That's how good it is. Do not even bother with it. It's not anything like you've heard before in a Fallout game, and I just wish Fallout could continue living on because I'd love to use this more in my videos. A lot of people also want to know about the Nuka-cade in Nuka World. Is this a fun addition to the game? And it most certainly is, but it's really easy to exploit and get tons of tickets, which I'll have a video on later. And also, redeeming these ticket rewards isn't even remotely worth it because you really don't get anything cool from the ticket machine. I thought there would be a cool grand prize at the Nuka-cade that you could unlock by getting thousands upon thousands of tickets, and it is easy to exploit and get thousands upon thousands of tickets, although it does take time. And I felt like this was a missed opportunity because Bethesda's awesome at rewarding the player, and this is just a good place to have fun, just to go and kick it and actually try to legitimately play these games, and that's really the intention of it. But like I said, it's a very easy area to break, and when you break it and you just get all these tickets, you're like, all right, I want to spend these on something because I did my thing. I got all these tickets. And when you go to the ticket machine, you don't really get anything cool, and it kind of made me lose interest in the ticket machine just like that. One highlight of Nuka World is its fantastic side quests. I won't spoil them at all, but they do feature some really cool side quests that unlock some interesting lore behind the Nuka-Cola and the Nuka World and everything else in the Fallout universe that I think a lot of Fallout fans are going to appreciate. As in the terms of the map size, it's not absolutely ginormous. Like I said, it'll probably take take you about 15 to 20 hours to do absolutely everything in this DLC. And one thing I think I should point out is that I was really getting some old world blues feels when I was playing this DLC, because a mountain range surrounds the entire park, and it's just this crazy looking area with lots of fun yet weird yet serious things happening here. And so I know if you guys are a fan of old world blues, then you're gonna be a big fan of Nuka World. Also, maybe it was just me, I didn't really necessarily count, but it felt like there was a lacking amount of unique weapons and armor here, which is okay because everything's still a lot of fun, but I just didn't feel like there was a lot from quests and whatnot, which I kind of felt was maybe a bummer for some Fallout players. Because for me, I usually tend to make guides on them, so I do write them down when I get them, and I didn't really find too many uniques that were absolutely hard to obtain. And lastly, Nuka World comes with a revamped settlement mode. You can go out, take over settlements in the Commonwealth for your raider gang. And this mechanic was made, I think, with the intention of being started on a new game. And the reason I say that is because when you go to Nuka World and you choose, I want to raid this settlement, for example, that I own, they'll say, well, you own that. Are you sure you want to go raid your own place? And you're like, hell yeah, I do. And when you go there, the raiders will just kill everyone with you, and you take it over, you place the flag there, it's yours now as a raider base, and you gotta harass nearby areas to force them to give you items for your settlement, and then those settlements collect money and they end up in the overboss trunk all the way over at Nuka World. What happens though is that the Minutemen start to hate you, so you have to start killing them as well throughout the Commonwealth, and also you end up having to make the raiders happy in different ways. They refuse to work for their own stuff, so you have to make them happy and feed them and all this different stuff in unique ways, which I thought was also a refreshing change of pace. What it does is essentially adds the certain side of settlement mode that a lot of people thought was missing, where it was like, okay, in settlement mode it's all about being the good leader and bringing hope to the Commonwealth, but now with Nuka World, when you start a new game, you can be this evil badass and just take over these settlements and say, screw the rest of humanity, I'm going to take this for myself. Also, I should say that this isn't the type of DLC that you're paying for role-playing, as some people would say. You can be very evil in this DLC. This DLC really does encourage the evil motive, which I found myself doing quite a bit. There were a lot of options where you could say, I don't even feel like talking to you, I'm just gonna kill you, and you could skip the conversation, the quest, and everything, and just kill that person right there, which was certainly a very interesting option to have in a Bethesda Game Studios game. It's something I encourage quite a bit. And speaking of that, I felt like the dialogue almost took a step back this time. The descriptions for what you were saying weren't as long. I actually found myself 2 or 3 times actually saying something I didn't want to say, which was sort of crucial. I feel like in an RPG you should always know what you want to say to the other character, and it seemed like they took a step back on that. There were some quests which had perk checks and skill checks and all that type of stuff, which I can appreciate, and something that I always want to bring up to make sure Bethesda knows that we all encourage this type of role-playing in the game, where it knows when I invest in something that it's entirely worth it. But you obviously want to know if this is worth your time because of all these games coming out in the fall. Is Fallout 4 worth putting back into your disc tray or firing up on Steam and trying out its newest DLC for $20? And in answer to that, it really does depend, because I had a very buggy start, and it's not everyone's job out there to review these games and let you know if this is worth your time or money. And for me, the first 2 hours were extremely frustrating and discouraging because of how buggy they were and how infrequently I experience bugs in Bethesda games. And I know that's crazy to say, right? But I am one of the few who really never has a hassle with these types of bugs in Bethesda games. To actually be hammered by that time and time again, and actually have multiple crashes even, was quite frustrating for me, and it's just happening now, which means it's something with the DLC. But I feel like if those bugs are fixed, because that was during the beta, so I'm assuming they will be fixed by launch, then yeah, I'd say overall what I played was a lot of fun. Exploring was a blast. The music was fantastic. Just there's a lot of personality here. There's a lot of things to see. Everything's brought to life in Nuka World, and it's fun. That's what it is. It's not anything serious. It's just fun. And if you're looking for just fun in the Fallout game, not this compelling story trying to add crazy lore and yada yada yada, then yeah, this is a DLC you should play. Lets you be more evil and encourages that type of playstyle. There's a little bit more role-playing involved. There's lots of cool places to explore. There's new unique factions to get involved with. It's a fun DLC, and it's a solid conclusion. That's how I label it. It is a solid exit for Fallout 4. This is what it needed to go out on a high note and say, okay, at the end, we did well. And I think they did. And I think this is something that a lot of Fallout fans will enjoy. But I hope you guys do enjoy Nuka World. This is the final Fallout 4 DLC review. I hope you guys do stay tuned for all of my reviews, because this fall, It's going to be a very busy one, especially trying to balance school and all these games you got to play and review. It's going to be an interesting time, but I hope you guys do stick around and check out all I have to offer after Fallout 4. So let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. I got a ton of other Nuka World content ready to upload right now. I got at least a week's worth, so I hope you guys are ready for a nice onslaught of exciting DLC content. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. The links are, as always, in the description down below. Check out TriggerBomb.com, the place by Bethesda fans for Bethesda fans. Other than that, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.